Yeah, but don't let me forget to tell you, Christine, because
Yeah.
it relates to Venus too. My whole theory after watching this
Okay.
Well, I've also heard some people claim that Saturn was once visible from Earth, like really prominent in Earth's sky. So that also kind of ties in
That's
with
Yeah.
fascinating.
and the same people say that Saturn was luminous.
Hmm.
So
Oh, see, yeah, but so when it exploded, though, right? They put it at 10,000 years. Okay, so this is what triggered. So, and they said that the ancient civilizations wrote about it, right?
right.
Because what would happen was like when Venus was being ejected
Yeah.
from what's it called, from Saturn, that
Right.
it would have had a huge tail. It would have looked like a huge comet, like
Right.
huge, right?
Right.
And
Right.
then we have those stories from China that said that the sun
Yeah.
exploded or a star exploded,
Mhm,
and it
mhm.
kept it lit up the day. It was day for 4 days and
Right, yeah.
or 30
Mhm.
days or something like
Yeah.
that. Oh, and it stopped the rotation of the Earth for 4 days
Yes.
and
Yeah.
all
Mhm.
that, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
10,000 years, well, 12,000 years ago was the Younger Dryas when we were
Right.
impacted, and there was, you
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
And the ancient Greeks were far behind that. And what happens? Venus brings order out of chaos.
Well, I was just thinking of the story of
Wow.
Phaeton stealing Apollo's sun chariot. You know this legend in Greek mythology?
Oh yeah. And
He
wait, I'm gonna add something.
Okay,
You
go
know,
ahead.
from
Go ahead. Because
Maori
it all
in
just snowballs. Yeah, go ahead. Mhm.
there's linked to that story from Greek in Hawaii. There was Maori. His mother was suffering from the sun, and he put a lasso on the sun, and he said, "No, you cannot travel my mother anymore." Then,
Right.
in the same time in India, there was the monkey Hanumana, and the sun was scorching the earth, and the other god said, "No, you have to do something with the sun because she's too hot." So he wanted to swallow the sun in, and then he said, "No, you cannot
Mhm,
eat the
mhm.
sun. You have to put it farther away." So
Right.
that's,
Right.
I mean, they're all linked to each other. I mean, that's how I see it. It's
Yeah, they are. And they're all stories from around the same period.
yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know the legend of Phaeton. He doesn't have control of the horses. You know, that pull the chariot, that pull the sun, which means that the sun is out of control. And at first he goes too high, and he goes away from the earth, and then the earth freezes. Well, that's an ice age,
Right.
right? And then oh shit, I made a mistake, and then he corrects it, and then he dives down, and then the earth is scorched.
yeah.
So
Yeah, it's the same thing.
clearly it's the same.
Yeah, the same thing that in all those legions that just
Yeah.
have different symbols for it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and
exactly,
then when things would have when things would have settled down, then there would have been a new object in the sky, which would be Venus, and things settled down. So Venus bring order out of chaos.
Right.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she rises out of the sea.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And,
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna have to send it to you. It's only like a 10-minute long
Definitely.
YouTube video. And like I
Nice.
said, it's about electric universe, and it said the birth of Venus 10,000 years ago.
Right.
And you know, so I watched it, and like I said, like he's a real scientist. There's measurable electro, and that's the other thing, right? Because he was talking about the electromagnetic energy, and it gives an output and an input. Like, you know, when you short out, when you plug something in and it shorts out, it's because it's
Yes.
not meeting the electrical discharge, right?
Right. Right.
So,
right.
so there's such an electrical discharge around Saturn, it's pulling in matter, and that's what makes the rings around
Yeah.
Saturn, right?
Yeah.
So, damn it, where was I going?
the ring, and then Venus,
Well,
Venus, Saturn.
yeah,
And Tesla. Tesla
Yeah,
said
yeah.
gravity isn't exactly what we think it is. Like
Right.
Einstein got it wrong. He said it's a push-pull against the electromagnetic fields. And that's the same as, like I said, the electromagnetic field around Saturn is what is pulling in the matter to create the rings.
Yep.
That confirms Tesla too.
Yeah.
Tesla,
Right.
ancient Greece, Atlantis.
Right. Well, also, have you heard of Immanuel Velikovsky? He was the first scientist that promoted cataclysms between planets, and was saying that get off your high horse, science. These things are there are. He actually went into the mythology, the shit that I read, and he was the first one to do this. That and lined up here's the mythology, and then here's the geology, and he just started checking off boxes like that. Well, of course, he was and he was writing probably when first half of the 20th century. So he was basically ostracized by the scientific community. One interesting thing about his book, When Worlds Collide, is that Einstein, when he died, they found that book open in the middle to Velikovsky's book on his nightstand.
Wow.
So, I think, certainly Einstein probably, he thought Tesla was a way brighter intellect than he was than himself.
Yeah.
So I don't have any trouble at all thinking that Einstein was at least privately maybe entertaining. Yeah, that they're onto something here. I think there's a lot to electrical universe theory.
So do I.
Mm-hmm.
So do I. Because, like I said too, every living thing has an electromagnetic pulse.
Yeah,
Our brains
everything is
figured it out.
waves.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Right. And the Kundalini, like,
yeah,
and what's an electrical current? You don't want one like this. You want one that's smooth.
yeah. It has to go always like that. Spiral. Everything's in spiral moves.
It's a spiral.
Like Van Gogh in his paintings, when he painted the sky, it's all in that. He saw that energy, and he was really
right
in awe, and that's how he painted it. And he said, "I cannot paint it," but that's why he got crazy, because it was so beautiful, and he wanted to put it down in paintings, and he could not do it like he saw it, and but nobody understood him unless only the singer, this Don McLean, he sings so beautiful about it.
He wrote a beautiful song about Van Gogh.
Yeah, he really understood Vincent. Like, it's so beautiful. It makes me cry, that song.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to see the Van Gogh, and you have to see the city with Jeroen van den.
I will someday.
Yeah, you have Krabbe, Jeroen Krabbe.
Yeah, I will someday. Yeah.
It's and then also from Gauguin is also interesting, but he's not as high as Van Gogh, but he's also interesting. His life.
Right. Yeah. You find the spiral image, and it's usually in 2s or 3s, but it doesn't have to be. It can be on its own, all over. Shit. Gerard and I were just out looking at petroglyphs, and there they were.
Beautiful.
I said, they're all over the Americas in petroglyph and ancient stone sites all over. They're all over Britain, Ireland, Scotland. They're in all of the ancient solar, lunar, and stellar temples there. That's what they were. I mean, you guys know I have a fascination with Newgrange, and it's an oval, or not an oval. It's a circular temple, basically, with rounded curb stones all around the perimeter of it, and carved into all these are geometric figures. And the most prominent figure of all, it's repeated over and over again, is the spirals that are connected in the center. Three spirals connected in the center, and they're all together. They're all grouped together. And Newgrange, the light of the sun, it's aligned with the winter solstice, the sunrise on the winter solstice. So it was definitely they found human remains inside of it. Whatever. I also think that perhaps the dating of that, because they placed it around the same time as the pyramids, but we know that the pyramid dating is
ridiculous,
open to question.
A lie.
Yeah.
A lie.
Right.
Yeah.
So these these places have certain, anomalies, structural anomalies, just like the pyramids do. These don't leak. Well, if you know anything about the climate in Ireland, it rains all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They don't leak, and they haven't leaked
Wow.
in 1,000 years.
Wow.
So
Wow. See?
they're amazing. They're amazing. And I went into Newgrange. I didn't visit the others, but because I didn't have time. And there's power in that place. There
Yeah.
really
It's
is
fascinating.
power in that place.
Yeah.
It is fascinating. Yeah. So I completely accept that the uniformity, the universality of this symbol all over the earth is significant.
Yeah.
I mean, all of our great symbols, like the wheel, the cross, some of the symbols in the 12 signs of the zodiac, you find them everywhere.
Yeah.
Find them everywhere. So you can't justifiably just dismiss that. And go ahead.
Are you sure? No, I mean that. I just sound rude. Sorry.
All right.
I meant like, are you sure you're finished?
No, I'm not. You know
I'm from
me.
Jersey. I can't help but sound ignorant, but I'm
It's
not.
okay. No,
Oh, this spiral thing. That's what I was going to say.
Mhm.
Because I was listening to Alan Watts the other day, and so one of the questions, what someone in the audience asked him, are we just going in circles over and over again, a constant battle between good and evil, right?
Yeah.
And Alan Watts said, well, yes, but when you look up in the sky, isn't that what the universe is doing?
Yeah.
Because everything goes in circles, right?
Yeah.
And then you talk
Right.
about the spiral. So I think the point is like, yes, we go in circles until we realize, hey, look, we can go.
Yeah. And then we go.
And that's the spiral.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
and that's the
exactly.
way
And
that
when you have pain
through the
in the
galaxy,
body, or if you have a wound, there's also something like a wound in the body, and
Yeah.
the DNA goes this, and then it triggers again the wound. And until it's healed, you get the same lessons to hear. So it's like, you have to go up. We cannot keep this, and then okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It's everything. It's like that. Yeah. And then we should, get rid of the patterns but we are keeping repeating.
Yes.
How easy is it to say, but
Right.
how difficult is it to be aware
the
of it?
the entire solar system is rotating, but it's also moving in space,
Yes.
It's also
rotating
moving.
around the center of the Milky Way.
Mhm.
So, it's fluid. Well,
Right.
they say the ether is a mixture of maybe all four elements.
Yeah, I think so.
But
Oh,
it's
yeah.
certainly air and water. You can definitely conjure that in your imagination. Definitely. I also think there's fire in it as well. But
There's definitely.
Yeah, ether is electric because it is giving the messages
Right.
goes through the ether. So phoning, I mean, everything what is the contact communication is through the ether.
mhm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that
and if you think about, okay, so we're 75% water,
Mhm.
and water holds memory, and then we have DNA, which is living information. Which,
Yes.
in all actuality, talk about censorship. Go screw yourself, because I just realized today we right now are living information.
yeah.
Yeah.
True. Actually, we are.
Trying to suck me out.
Stored.
I mean,
Right, yeah. Mhm.
So and then the electrical spark, which makes it all somehow function together. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I'm not God, I don't know how it works, but that's how everything in life like really actually is. Whether it's a plant, whether it's the grass, whether it's a bear, whether it's the air. The air has electricity in it and water in it, and it's
Mhm.
you know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Well-
the fire, that heart's fire, that those
Yeah.
stuff, that's the
Right.
I don't know that.
And look at tornadoes. Look at tornadoes. What do? they're a spiral, they're a column, and they come down
exactly.
from the sky and touch the earth. And it's very, and you also, it's also very similar to the way that lightning works.
Yeah.
Lightning is electrons stored in the ground.
Yeah.
Somehow rushes up through a single point and connects with the.
Yeah, and it seems that lightning is very aware about itself. It knows which points to hit and which to not hit. So it destroys what needs to be destroyed. It seems.
Right.
Well, that's what I mean. Even with Saturn and the rings and stuff, right? It's like, and then like Tesla with the push pull, right? Because it's lightning happens when so you have protons and you have a positive and a negative.
Yeah.
Yes.
Protons are the positive and electrons are the negative.
Right.
Yes.
And so, like, if you have, say, too many like positives and not enough negatives, it throws it off balance and it has to discharge, right?
Right.
So, and I mean, that's even us, right? If we're too enslaved and then realize that we're all enslaved, the positives and negatives are all
right.
So you're gonna explode.
Well, there's gonna be blowback, isn't there?
Right.
There's gonna be a lot of blowback. Yeah, because they've been trying to starve us. They
do. That's now the third point.
Yeah.
Someone there is a good podcast from Blogs BLX and van Arnaert, but he's a Dutch guy, but the subtitles in English, and he says they had number 1 was the COVID, number 2 is war, number 3 is hunger, number 4 is death of the vaccines. That's the programs he said.
That's hunger. Wait, is it famine? That's the 4 horsemen: famine, war, death, and pestilence.
Yes,
pestilence.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and the government is full of cockroaches. So we got that one.
Yes, they are.
Oh, it could be a computer bug, cyber attack. Figured it out live.
Oh yeah, that was a good joke. You have what was it? Somebody sent it to me. Oh, there's the monkeypox. There is the mad cowness sickness. There is all those animal names. And then the doctor was looking. Oh, I don't know anymore. Am I a veterinarian or am I a doctor?
Well, you think about it. Avian flu. Swine flu.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They're all named after animals.
Yes.
Well, there's magic in that, black magic in that. Why? They want our consciousness lowered and tied to the physical.
Yes.
Which is what animals symbolically represent.
Yeah.
Of course, we know that. Anyway, that's the spell they want to put on us. They want to bind our identity with this ridiculous thing, right? This thing here. It's funny. It's comic, but and everything else. The whole money game. The whole you have to you are a body, and when you born, you're going to die, and that's it.
Yeah, that's
right?
it. Yeah.
That's it.
Right, because if we get animal diseases like animals, then we're just animals, and we need the farmers to vaccinate us and stuff to keep us herded around, so we don't get sick, and so we can produce for them.
Right,
that's Animal Farm. The book.
Oh, it is. It is. Yes. Yeah. Animal Farm was.
But they keep us in that state of mind. Like, honestly, I'm fucking sick of it. And like, I don't even know everything. And I know I'm a matrixy person and not free. Like, I know that. I mean, I'm realizing it more and more and trying to be free. But like even with and I'm sick of, I'm sorry I always bring it up, but it's always popped in my, why? Because the FBI listens to me and they know what triggers me. Put it on my feed. So
if anyone wants to get in contact with the FBI, just have Susan share one of your posts.
Just start privately messaging me, and don't worry, you'll be on the list. But seriously, like with the racism and stuff, right? Because I
Yeah.
saw it's just, oh, another white supremacist cop. Oh, another white.
Right.
Like,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
oh, and a lot of the comments, a lot of times are like, oh, black are the superior race, and that's why they tricked us, and blah blah blah. And it's like, see, you don't want equality. You don't want the human race to be all treated as equals. You just want to be the oppressor.
You just want to be the next boss.
So
Yeah.
shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
Exactly.
talk about racism when you're being racist as shit, but nobody's allowed to say anything because and you're telling me I'm the racist. That's just insane to me. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's so
It's
backwards.
crazy.
Because I'm talking to you like another intelligent human being without taking your skin color into consideration. I'm the racist.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Well,
Yeah,
that's another way. That's another way to tie us to our physical reality.
Yes. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is.
I want Diane made a great comment. She says they want to cheapen our existence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right there. That's it. Nailed it.
Oh, I can't. Yeah. I just went to click her comment on the screen and I can't.
It's not working.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah. They want to cheapen our existence. They want us to think like they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, they don't want us to ever think like they do, because then we would know their game.
Right. True.
And it would be
but they do still, don't they know that we're getting through their games? I mean, so many people.
Yeah, that's why they released the monkeys.
Monkeypox has to be the ultimate, because that's also how they see us. They see us as animals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're cattle, literally.
We're cattle. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right.
I got a birth certificate.
Chattel. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right.
Someone's trading me on the stock market and losing.
Right.
He's good time with that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
He lost a lot of money on me. That was a bad bet.
Yeah. So, I think, we're going to come into the next 100 years, once we turn the corner and get rid of these things, these people.
I think so too.
Consciousness. We're going to have to do a lot of work of reconciling, science, or at least, scientists are going to have to open up and say, you know what, we don't actually know everything, and it's time that we started listening to the alternative science and the mythology and the people like us that have been doing our own work, and saying, how do you explain this? And this is a perfect little artifact that makes no fucking sense at all in the paradigm that they've created in their fake textbooks.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
The best example is the Sphinx and the water erosion on the walls of the Sphinx.
Oh yeah, that's actually so easy already to see. I mean, you have just use your logic, but we are not used.
And their only defense is just to bury it and hide it and keep it away from the masses.
Yes, and they really think, are we that
stupid? Good luck with that these days. Good luck with that because of the internet.
Yeah, that's their unluck actually, because the internet exposed everything. Actually, the internet is a curse and a blessing at the same time.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
So it's
well, it's they control it. They control what you see, and because of that, they also are trying to control the way you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And shape your perceptions of what's going on in the outside world, because if that's all you have,
and also
you're going to think that everyone thinks like you and the 25 people that you see on your feed all the time. Yeah,
it's true. I see nothing anymore on Facebook. I really have to, and even on YouTube, I have to look for things if I want to. So that's why I'm happy that we have all this today still, because it's hard to find information now, and
it's definitely, social media itself can be really Aquarian, the technology aspect.
Oh yeah,
that's a good thing.
Free, if it's liberated from these psychotic personalities that just want to control your mind.
I might
What's happening on
think,
Facebook?
yeah. You know, what do you think,
Some of
Susan?
them are on my friends list.
Yeah. And I might think when Saturn is out of Aquarius that it might get freer. That again,
Yeah.
all information might get
Maybe.
again much more
That's-
free.
yeah. Well, that's in
Saturn leaves
3 years,
Aquarius.
Yeah.
2.5
Yeah.
years, something like that.
Yeah, I think the first time in March next year in 23,
Mhm.
it will a little bit go already in Pisces,
It'll
but
go
I
into
think it will return. But
Mhm.
I think in 24 it will be totally in Pisces. So then could be that the
right now-
crumbling down has happened.
Let me run something by you two and see what you think about this theory. It's kind of a theory
Yeah.
I've been working on for myself, and it's
Yeah.
this: it's that we're kind of undergoing the final exam for Pisces right now. You know, all of us are. You know, whether it's the planet itself or us in our individual lives. You know, and that work and I think maybe I don't know, because I don't know and astrology is an enormously complex system, but perhaps Saturn moving into Pisces and then maybe leaving Pisces and entering Aries in, what is that, 6 or 7 years? That'll be like a watershed moment when Saturn leaves Pisces and enters Aries. So that'll be in probably
that's a long way.
7 or 8 years, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The end of 25, beginning of 26.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a transition period. We know that. From Aquarius or from Pisces to Aquarius.
Yeah.
And we're all learning our lessons. We're all kind of finishing things that perhaps we've been working on over multiple lifetimes.
Yeah, I think so. I'm quite sure.
I think so too. I at least that's how I see my own development, my own consciousness development. And
so I'm being negative Nancy real quick, but Saturn and Aquarius, they're trying to microchip us, right? Saturn and Pisces, they steal our fucking soul.
Yeah, that's the dark side.
and that follows on them trying to microchip us, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. But then it's dying, or then we have to surrender to death. I think that the only salvation is then nirvana.
I'll die first before I let any computer thing go in.
Yeah, me
I
too.
wouldn't even really want
That's
like
no doubt.
I'm not sure how I'd feel about that.
Right.
Yeah.
It would be totally different if we weren't living under psychopaths.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
they could help people regrow limbs, and they could help people that are paralyzed walk. They could do a whole bunch of shit. But no.
True.
They would rather kill 85% of us and then take the rest of us and turn us into virtual robots.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
That's their plan.
That is the plan.
Which is crazy because they can have it also beautiful with all the knowledge if they have. They can have it heaven on earth for everybody, but they don't get it. So they're actually the miserable people much more than we are, because they have no clue
really
what
are.
it is to
Because a happy person doesn't like go around killing people.
no.
They just don't.
No.
They just don't.
Right.
You can't. Can you imagine being
Right.
totally happy someone to kill somebody? There's something broken in you, except for guys who like feet. They're okay with it. Seriously.
Can you imagine the kind of consciousness that devotes its entire life force to trying to control other people?
Right. And I mean like starving babies and bombing cities and I mean, come on. So if that's why, like, I know it sounds really bad, but that's why I say reptilians. And like I said, maybe it's demons, maybe it's demonic energy, maybe it's just the natural course of good and evil, right? But they're different than I think a human. They're different in some way than an actual human being. Because I don't think even an actual human being killed somebody and like wanted to kill them, they would feel remorse at some point in their life.
Yes.
Or die from the turmoil. There's no way Yeah,
Right.
and they can just
Mhm.
sleep at night and, like, eat, like, "Yeah, drop the bomb, I don't care if there's kids there."
Yeah.
Like, so, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? They're
Right.
not
They laugh over champagne.
Yeah,
right.
they live over champagne, it's true.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what I
That's
mean, they're not
mm,
normal.
Right.
yeah,
And
that
maybe it
yeah,
has something to do with that money spell. The
yeah.
Right.
more money you have, the more evil or
Right.
soulless you are
Well,
because it's a spell that sucks our
Mm,
energy.
you look at
That's the life force.
you look at what Shakespeare said about these people in Macbeth, because Macbeth is about a psychopath, and he says that the first murder is the toughest, and he really struggles with that, and then each time after that, it just gets easier until he no longer cares, and in the
right.
end, he's completely just in despair. He doesn't see any meaning at all in life whatsoever.
Mm.
Well, that's what these people are. But they,
Yeah.
at least Macbeth was honest enough, because Shakespeare was doing, self-knowledge. He showed him as being totally honest with himself and saying, this is meaningless.
Mm.
They don't think that. They think they're so sold into, feeding on your energy and getting you to do their bidding, and whatever energetically they get out of us, whether they feed on our energy or they just get pleasure
Yeah.
from keeping us in penned up like cattle.
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
but they might get pleasure, but they don't know happiness.
No, they
No,
don't know happiness.
no,
They
no.
Just
always
don't murder
they
people
say
when you're
like
happy.
yeah,
Because
but
they can't
that's
feel
true.
like we do. They can't
Yeah.
feel like we do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they keep us so called in fear, but they're always fearful that we discover. They always
They're terrified that their food source is going to go away.
yes. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I always say over and over and over again, they have no power. Like the last
Yeah, they don't.
2,000 years mentally has been an
Mhm.
illusion for
Mhm.
me, for my
Right.
mother, my grandmother, my great great grandmother. Most
Yeah.
of it's been an illusion until till the ancestors that lived in tribes, which could have been just 100 years ago, right? Those
Mhm.
people were still not disillusioned. Anybody that was not living in a tribe not under a government, we've
Right.
all been in an illusion for a
Mm.
really, really, really long time.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I was reading just a book from the white lady who lives with the Navajo Indians. They live so happily and they have their codes and their social way of life, but they live without electricity, they live without running water, and they're super strong and they don't they have their collective possessions most of the time. Yeah, now with too much white influence, it's they also know greed and all this kind of stuff. They learned by us because they didn't know what it was. But actually, they still can live very simple. They have their, and they always try when there is too much imbalance in, yeah, one has to, in whatever it is, in people poor or rich or unhappy or happy. Or when there's an unbalance, they do ceremonies to bring the balance again, and they work very much, and they
Mhm.
feel very easily. They senses someone has no good intentions. They sense that. They can really sense that when they do their ceremonies. It was really amazing actually, and it's called, the book is called The White Apple. Yeah, that's the lady who went. Yeah, she went to. She's from Holland. She went to America for her studies. She studied art, and then she got the chance to. She was to go to the Navajos, and because of her study of history and art, and she did that. She fell in love with a Native American, and she learned the way of life. Or I mean, she didn't stay there after all, because you never can become. Yeah, I mean, you don't have that and so she left on the end, but in peace. But yeah, it's such a different way of life. Such a different way of life. They feel actually quite free. They see in the desert. I've seen the plateau, how the Mesa Plateau, how is it called?
Mesas. Yeah.
Yes.
Mesa is like a flat plateau. Like
Yeah.
it's like a mountain with the top cut off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I run next to them. It was beautiful. But then I think, oh, it's all desert. But then they say they can see a million. This is also beautiful. Every side, every road, every other angle is full of beauty for them, which we don't see. Then for
Yeah.
me, it looks the same. Maybe not when I'm there a long time, but she said self, it's you see it as a desert, but they see it as totally abundant, but we cannot see. And that's amazing actually for a desert.
Yeah.
So they see that already in the desert. We cannot even see it between
Well,
full of green.
Hopi live on several of those mesas, and they have grown corn and squash and beans on those mesas for time out of mind.
Mhm.
And the Hopi prophecies also. I know
Yeah,
that you are both familiar with those already, but I'll just repeat it. In case somebody listening to us isn't. The Hopis have prophesied. Very very similar to what Thoth said in the Hermetica about this time that we're living in right now. The time of destruction and rebirth, hopefully.
Mhm.
And the Hopis, basically, they say that the Four Corners area where they're at is a safe place, and there are probably other safe places on the earth. But
Yeah.
they've been growing their own food on top of those mesas in kind of not quite. It's technically classified as high desert up there, but they do get a lot of they get more rain than like the Sonoran Desert or the Mojave Desert, which is really dry. And they're a people who have never lost their connection with spirit.
Yeah.
They haven't. They've
No.
kept it.
Yeah, they can live from nothing, so called, but they see what it's amazing. And that is when you totally have a connection. There is always enough for you when you allow it to see it. When you're connected. So that's actually also in the Bible. It says you will be provided whatever
Right.
you need, but you need to be connected.
Yeah, Christine, remember, I don't know, a week or two ago, and you were saying, I think it was the wolf one, the dog and the wolf or something.
Yeah.
But how he couldn't see any of the animals in the forest, and then and they were, the Native Americans said that, well, because you can't, they won't let you see them unless, like, they have to let you see them.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, have to allow it.
Whatever.
Yes.
And like, because they're more in tune with nature, the animals appear to them, right? Well, I was thinking about that because, like, I can spot a mushroom from far away. like Joe was making fun of me. I was like, "Did you see those mushrooms over there?" And he's like, "Where?" And they were real small on the side of a log. And he's like, "Did you see that penny over there in that leaf?" He's like, "How did you see that?" But it's so funny because I'm just like, for me, I've been doing it for so long. It's just a part of me. It's like I just go walking around to have fun, and I'm like, "Oh, look, mushroom."
Yeah.
But other people don't see it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I always think it's so obvious, but it just made me think of that. Like when they know you are like with them, I guess.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and we don't know what kind of telepathic communication they might have with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah, probably they have a lot
with our unconscious mind. Because obviously our conscious mind, in most cases, is not tuned in to nature, to trees, to fungi, to animals. But that doesn't mean that they're not trying at all times to get through to us.
Right.
That's the way I look at it. As
well
as the earth, as well as the earth, as well as the stars and the sun. I don't, and this is supported by every mythology, every spiritual people around the world. This view, this worldview that they have about human life and our place on this planet. Sorry, science. Science.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Real science doesn't have a problem with that.
No.
Real science.
Yeah. Real science is magic. That's spirituality, actually.
It is. And science, philosophy, religion, and art used to be one thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It must have been amazing if you could be a student of those people. Can you imagine? Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah. I'm enjoying the heck out of the Pythagorean book that I'm reading,
Mm.
and I've got. When I was in San Diego this last few days, I got a couple of books on the Cathars. So I'm going to
Oh
tie that in with the Cathars, the Gnostics, the Pythagoreans, the Platonists, because they have a lot in common. All of that tradition, and obviously the Vatican tried to stamp it down and kill it, but you can't kill the light. It keeps popping up.
yeah.
It just went underground, and then you get, the Gothic cathedrals and the coded messages about alchemy and the stages of alchemy in the cathedrals themselves. Then you get Shakespeare and Spenser and the other English poets who talked about the way of return, alchemy, encoded in their poems and their plays and their, everything they wrote. Those are just a few examples. There are others within Europe in during the last 2,000 years anyway, that people who were awake, struggling to perpetuate the light.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, and in Celtic, they were also very. I mean, Celtic
Yes.
can be.
Yes.
Compared with the natives in America, I think the
Absolutely.
Celtic had very deep connection.
Yeah.
The
Absolutely.
trees,
Absolutely. The Druids.
yeah, the Druids. They were,
Well, what does the word Druid mean?
and even they were in connect with the other elements like the dwarves, the
Yes.
elves, the
Elementals,
fairies.
yes.
They see that, and some people still
Right.
seems to be that in countries like Ireland or Scotland or the Northeast countries, they have more contact with these elements like elves and fairies, and they have their legions, a lot of legions about them, and some are good intentions, some are not so good intentions, and they know, that's really fascinating, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And here and there you find people who really, there is in Germany a famous guy, who is very familiar with trees and what they tell and what he learns from them. It's so amazing when you find such people.
And those ideas which vary, when you talk about the pagan tradition, whether it's in Europe or the Near East, in Africa, in Asia, doesn't matter. Those people, shamanism can, they used spirit, plant medicine, spirit medicine to attain, higher levels of consciousness. But it wasn't, the shamans knew that they couldn't rely on the spirit medicine as a like a crutch. They had to use it as a boost to develop their own, level of consciousness. And they did. And over generations, those people were psychologically healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, really, really pure of spirit. What have we done? What have we done? Well, we know the history of the West in the last 2,000 years.
If our spirit was in balance with our technology, that would also be heaven.
Yeah, it would. Well, and that gets back to what we were saying a minute ago, is that science and religion and philosophy and art and all the humanities are going to come back together and realize, okay, this is more than just our provincial, our separate, our cliquish way of doing things that we've done for so long now in the West. And it's that, those people over there, they do the humanities. We do science over here. We do knowledge and hard facts and, left brain stuff and,
No, we do ego shit. Because honestly, we always say, can we do it? Sure. Here, let's blow up Hiroshima.
Right.
But we never say, should we do it before we do it?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
They've convinced themselves that because they're objective with us, that they're objective with themselves. No, you're not.
Mm.
You know, you're not
We
being
reviewed science. My friend read it. It's good.
yeah.
Yeah,
What's
the
it?
guy
What was that again?
I amended it for so he can make $1 billion.
Oh,
He
yeah,
said
right.
it was okay. It's crazy.
Right.
It is. It's insane right now.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
because did you know? Okay, so I don't know. I'm getting off topic with politics because it's just so stupid now. Like honestly, and I'm not trying to be mean. Even the school shooting thing, I don't know if that really happened. I
Yeah,
don't.
true. Because
don't
you know,
know.
I saw a video that you saw of Pat Hauser. There were policemen just a little bit behind the scene of afterwards laughing and joking. Yeah, after that so-called shocking event.
Right.
That cannot happen if it really happened.
Right. And there's so much stupid stories. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
just dumb. Like, okay, so they stood around for an hour and then some off-duty cop was at the barbershop and grabbed the shotgun and showed up as a hero. And then he reunited all the freaking cops to finally go in. And
It's
he
like a
went
fucking John Wayne
off
film.
duty,
It's like
and he
right.
wasn't even part of the police force. He was a border patrol agent. That's a freaking movie. I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like John Wayne rallying the cavalry that's been just routed by the engines, you know, and they're gonna go and kick ass,
That's
right?
what I mean. Like the cowboy
Hollywood.
showed up, you know,
Yeah,
like
right.
yeah, it's just so stupid. But honestly, maybe kids
Probably get
died. I
banned
don't
for
know. I'm not trying to disrespect
Right.
anything or anything. It's
Mhm.
awful. And in my opinion, even if kids didn't die in that school, right?
Right.
Because they
Mhm.
use magic and manipulate us and shit, right?
Right.
Even if kids didn't die in that school, when that
Yeah.
went down, they died somewhere in some kind of ritual sacrifice.
Yes.
But either way,
Yeah.
TV will accept that as
Yeah.
school shootings
Right.
happen, right? They can't go on TV
Exactly.
and sacrifice a bunch of children and drink
Right.
their blood and us not do anything. That would be like,
Yeah.
holy shit, right? So
Yeah.
they have to say, oh, look, it was a school shooting. So we'll get all upset and emotionally invested over children dying and put out all that fear energy and all that confusion energy. But
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
really, some kids did die. It was just in a basement somewhere.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds horrible, but that's what I think really happened.
Yeah. Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, it is crazy. Mhm.
That's what I think happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That-
but
and-
it's just insane.
yeah.
Everything's on TV and none of it.
Yeah.
None of us
You-
know if it's real because you
you
know what?
can't
It's not in
believe
my
any of it.
reality.
Yeah, you
Everything
can't believe it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What do I know? Well, I know this. You know, what's around me. I know the people that I live with. I know my cat. Sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that kind of shit. You know? The stuff that you hear, you know, and even the people, like you run it, you go into a restaurant or go into the grocery store or, you know, go to the gas station, you talk to people. And, you know, that's a little bit more real, but it's still totally distant from you because you don't know whether they're lying or telling the truth or not.
Yeah, true.
Right.
I do, however, know that Gerard Kenyatte Hay is actually a real person. This man right here.
Yeah, he's a real person.
Are you sure?
Yes. Yes.
'Cause they can make a hologram.
I have
Maybe
seen this man's feet. Okay?
Well,
He's a real person.
But listen, they can make a hologram smells too. They can make a hologram smell like onions and corn chips and all kind of things.
I probably know. I work hard with me.
I'm sitting outside. I'm sitting outside in the sun. I definitely smell right now. So.
But look,
It's cold here. It's cold.
Is it really? Wow.
it's not that hard to
Mhm.
make a hologram fart at 4 a.m. in the morning. It's not that hard. You're not sure that was me. That could have been, who knows what that could have been.
It was the dogs.
It could have been the dogs. I mean, remember, they're 100 years ahead of us in technology at least. Who
Mhm.
knows what they've developed? They can make little bald black men that live out in the sticks. They can do that.
Yeah.
I have to agree from a old knowledge perspective that if you can't trust TV, then don't trust it. I actually don't know what happened. I have not watched any of the news coverage, and I'm not going to.
Mhm.
And it's not that I don't care. It's just that they always lie.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not that kids didn't die. It's just that they always lie. And they always use horrible things as means to gain power and wealth. And I'm not playing their game anymore. I'm done. I don't watch TV. I don't watch the news. I have no interest. And plus, for me, this always lands in this space of hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great, horrible thing when American kids die, but it's okay every day that the kids we kill we drop buildings on them. Like, that's okay. There's no outrage there. So I'm in unity with children around the world, including in America. I'm not going to get raging upset because kids anywhere die if kids everywhere are dying. And we're killing them. We do that for our economy because they want your votes. Because
we purposely starve children.
I mean, yeah, we're starving. I mean, how about the Yemen kids? How many children are we starving to death still in Yemen whose bellies are popping because, I don't know, we want to help Saudi Arabia steal their oil?
Yeah.
We want Raytheon's fourth quarter shareholder meeting to go all right. That's the real reason.
Yeah. What's up in Belgium? What's up in Belgium right now? I don't know. I'm not familiar. I don't look at the news either. I have no idea.
It's an atrocity that any child dies any day. I'm just done being their monkey. I'm tired of swinging from their ropes and eating the bananas they feed me. I have a firm message for the system, and that is, that's my message for them. I really don't care what they got to say. We need to change the whole world from the bottom up. So I'm not going to engage in any, Hippocratic, tear jerking, virtue signaling. I'm such a good person, but I own a smartphone. No, I'm a bastard. I own a smartphone. That smartphone came from slaves in Africa and South America. I'm not a good person. I'm trying to use my slave devices for good things, but children die looking at the cell phone, right?
Yeah.
So I agree. I'm not going to play with their games. None of the story that I heard of it adds up, and none of the stories ever add up.
Yep.
It's all BS. It's all General Hospital. It's all Young and the Restless. It's all getting people to tune in to the next episode of whatever tragedy happens that they want to, form in a way that makes you scared and wants you to give up your rights. Like, to me, I find it insane that every solution is the poor people need to give up their rights. Has anybody else noticed that? Like, no matter what happens,
money.
Poor people have too many rights, and they have too much money. So every solution to every problem is going to be poor people, give the rich people more money, and give the rich people your rights, while they maintain all their money and their rights. And it's at some point in time, people have to be smart enough to be able to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I said it's expensive to be poor. Because
it is expensive to be poor.
Yeah, it's literally expensive to be poor. And especially because like I said, even with me with the DMV thing, right? Like, I could have got a lawyer. No, I can't. But that's what I mean. And then I would have got a lawyer, but I was still paying money. I was not giving them any money. I didn't care how much research I had to do.
I don't know by locking down. I'm just reading locking down in Belgium. I have no idea. We're still out. I'm still.
You'll find out when you wake up.
Oh my God! Everybody wearing a mask. Oh, you cannot come in the shop one by one. You have to stand in the queue.
But that's a good example. Is they're trying to isolate people in different nations and feed them bull. If you want to know what's going on in Belgium, turn off your damn television and ask Christine. If you want to know what's going on in Arizona, turn off your damn television and ask Jonathan. If you want to know what's happening in Jersey, turn off your television and ask. Like, we have to get back to just listening to people.
Yeah.
And stop listening to the wealthy. All they can do is lie. All they do is lie. The media is 100% useless. There's nothing of any value on the news. If you heard it on the news, don't tell me. You're the idiot for watching it. Turn it off. Live your life. Ignore everything in the news. And we might actually get back to some level of bulletins to let us know what's going on around the world. But right now, the news is not there to inform you. It's there to sell you a product. It wants to sell you a product or service or narrative. And I'm just not buying no more.
North, east, west, south. It's to manipulate the entire global mind.
It is.
Yeah.
It's
And it manipulates us into loving our masters and loving our slavery, like thinking it's actually an honorable, dutiful thing.
It's necessary.
Your whole life, so you can pay for your own funeral.
Yeah.
They act like that's your whole purpose.
And fear at it. And
Exactly.
fear at it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. Kind of in a bad mood today.
That's okay.
No super real reason why. I'm just there's just a lot in my head. So, and anybody in the comment section, I apologize. I'm actually human. You know, just rarely do you catch me on a live stream when I'm like in a bad mood. I'm done. I'm like so done with all the BS. I'm done with all the lies. I'm done with all the games. I'm just ready for it to end. It boggles my mind that poor people around the world can't travel. They can't do what they want to do. They can't live their lives. They can't go places because really, really stupid and ignorant people think the pharmaceutical industry is here to save you from something. Like I'm just highly annoyed. Nobody cured the common cold. Grow the F up. Read a little bit in history. Understand a little bit of science, and stop believing that BS on TV has anything to do with science.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're still wearing masks.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they do. They're still wearing masks.
Yeah. Some do.
Yeah.
That
it's
is
true.
a much needed piece of comedy. That you have really crazy people out there that are worried they're going to get the monkeypox.
Yeah. Yeah, they do it in Belgium too. I saw. But that is true.
They never took them off.
We could take our mask off. They still wore them.
They never took them off.
That's how deep brainwashing is. Because even when the people who told them it was okay, told them to wear it in the first place, said it was okay, they still kept it on.
Yeah, they don't have in Belgium too. There are some people who keep on their masks all the time. Whatever you say is no use. They're totally, it's totally mad. It's mad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm appreciating what Jeannie is saying, and that is, you know, there's no reason to watch the news because what we need to do hasn't changed, and it's not going to change. What we need to do is you need to monitor and manage your own family, your own lifestyle. Food prices are going up, and sure, it's a great time to start planning food. But guess what? You should have been planning food all along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sound.
Sound.
Baby formula.
Yeah. Oh, you're good now.
There you go. They cut out the CIA redacted part of your speech there.
Dude, it made a weird noise too. It made a weird noise.
You know, all I was saying is that, I mean, listening to what Jeannie's saying, I mean, you got to just pay attention to your own day. You got to live your own life. You got to do what you're supposed to do. You know, sure, you know, food prices are going up, but we shouldn't have waited till now to grow food anyway. They've been poisoning you and your children since the very beginning. They've started poisoning your children at birth when they convinced you that breast milk doesn't come from breasts, but it comes from billionaires in their laboratories and synthetic, you know, Enfamil and all of that crap. Like, that's poison. There is no scarcity of baby formula. Baby formula comes from titties. Titties are in every city in the United States. There is no titty scarcity. Titties are on every single woman that we have all around.
Amen, brother.
But I don't know.
He's texting now. It's not Latin American titties.
The power is on us. The power is on us.
It's mind-boggling. I mean, what people believe. I mean, it's mind-boggling. I mean, we have lost our way in so many ways. I mean, you can't even count. Yeah. You know, worry about your day, worry about your friends, your family, your neighbors, your kids. Do what you're supposed to do. And just stop believing the next scare tactic and next scare narrative. There's nothing in laboratories that your body needs. Nothing. Ever. We literally circumnavigated this planet more than once. We've had ancient populations of people who were all in contact with each other. And we did that without the pharmaceutical industry. We did that without the synthetic food industry. We did that without the synthetic poison baby formula industry. We don't need them. We don't need any of their products. We don't need any of their bull.
Yeah, well, that's like even what we were talking about earlier, right? Okay, with Saturn and Venus and stuff, right? So whether it was a comet or whether it was Saturn exploding and shooting Venus out, right? And we got wiped out 12,000 years ago. Okay, think about that, right? There were people who survived that, which means that for 2,000 years, humans were on this planet living underground after a massive impact that would have made it a dark winter for real, like nuclear winter all around almost the entire globe for, I mean, like 80% of the globe for 5 years at least before it started to dissipate. And then you would have hundreds of years after that and total landmass changes and everything. They survived that. And you want me to wear a mask for, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, really, if you think about it, I mean, and it shouldn't be like, oh, we're so pitiful. It should be like, that is how strong we are. So why are we listening to these?
And that is the problem with that mindset that wears the mask still to this day. Get some fucking perspective on reality and your place in it. Really?
Your slave master doesn't.
You are willing. You are willing to put all of us in an open air concentration camp called the United States under lockdown because you're afraid of a fucking cold that has half of a percent chance of killing you.
Yeah, a half of a half. I would take that chance any day. Actually, I do. You know why? Because they spray my air with aluminum and there's fluoride in my water. So every day is a half of a percent chance that I'm going to die.
You have a better chance of getting struck by lightning sometime in your life than you do of getting COVID or dying from it. Getting it, well, whatever getting it means, because the test is meaningless.
Yeah, truth. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's clown work, you know?
Yeah, and the same test for a monkey is the same test for the bat.
Yeah, it's all the same test.
Science.
Yeah.
What was the name of that TV show, Breaking Bad, where Jesse, he's like, science, Mr. White, science. I'm just like, my God. Like, that's really where we are. We really are here.
It's like science, yay, team.
Yeah, but you know, there is a shortage because of men have too many babies nowadays.
Yeah, you know how they like to eat.
They have no breast. They need more formula. We don't need. They need.
John, you're in your 50s. What are you going to do? You know, I was thinking about getting pregnant.
That's allowed now.
Apparently, it's a thing now. And I mean, I don't even want to know. I don't know, and I don't even want to know. I was about to say, ask a question. I'm not going to ask the question because you know what? I don't want to know the answer. I actually don't care. I have things that I have to do in my life. If that's helping other people in their lives, go at it, do it twice, have fun. We have important things. And I feel like the news and the media are there and they're designed with the politicians to get us arguing over everything that does not matter to a hill of beans. It's completely unimportant.
Yeah.
And it's breaking down.
That nails it. That nails it.
Mm-hmm. It's really not, you know. It's not.
And
Oh, and because that the other thing, right? Because you know, truthers, which I hate that term. Okay, because either you're a human being with living experience who tries to be authentic and speak from that authenticity, or you're not, and you're fake and you're a liar. There's no such thing as truth. Okay, that's just you dividing into another group.
It's an identity.
It's an identity.
It's a little cult. That's all it is, right? Yep. And because truthers went ape shit on Memorial Day about all the people supporting the war machine. There is a big difference in honoring and having respect for someone who thought they were giving their life for a worthy cause and supporting the war machine. There is
Yes.
a big difference between the two. I can have
Yep.
respect for a fallen soldier and still understand what's going on. And also,
Right.
do not tell me you were born knowing all the stuff you know now about the government.
Mm.
So how can you
Ex-
judge those people from the fucking 40s and 60s and
Right.
stuff?
Yeah, of
That,
course.
you know what I mean? Who didn't have internet to even know, and you know, it was a lot different back then.
Mhm.
And you're going to
Mhm.
judge them and call them murderers. And no, that to me, that's just not right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you
Mm.
know, there's a big
Well-
difference. Like, even my brother recently joined, right? Because he's younger than me. And when he got out, he was like, it's nothing like I thought it was. The government don't give a shit. He
Mm.
learned his lesson, and that is totally fine. That is
Yeah.
Yeah,
valid.
exactly.
So
Mm.
you cannot be mean, because I'm sorry, you're not going to change
Right.
anybody's mind or wake people up by having a lack of compassion and understanding for someone who isn't there yet.
Yes,
Exactly.
it's true.
Yeah. We
Exactly.
need a new world. This
Some of the
world
most
doesn't work.
judgmental behavior from truthers, you know. And another thing is, you know, if you don't agree with their opinion on an issue which is unproven, if you don't agree with their side of it, they label you as controlled opposition. Oh, you're a CIA plant. You're a what the fuck is
Yeah.
wrong with you? You know?
Yeah, and then they're free-minded and can't stand people forcing their ideas on them yet, because you don't agree with their idea.
Of course.
You know
Of
what
course.
I mean? And it's like, do you get it?
Yeah.
It's still just
Right.
a game. We have to get
Yeah.
out of this game and just be human.
And to bring it back to spirituality, if you're a truther, then act like it. Look at yourself. Look at what you're saying and doing to other people.
Yeah. Mm.
That you know, is unjustified or is judgmental or whatever. You know, how are you still in the matrix in here? You know, because it takes a long. I think people maybe, oh, I'm free. You know, and
No,
I'm not free yet.
no, we're not free. No.
you're confusing, you know, a conversion, a change of direction with the end goal.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
it takes time and humility and a lot of self-honesty and checking yourself. You know,
Yeah.
you know, how do I really know that what I think is true? How do I really know that? I've got to think about it, and I've got to accept and entertain other possibilities and what other people say. And then, of course, it's all about sharpening your mind so that you can turn it into a tool that will serve you and help you to see and perceive the truth outside and inside. Okay, I'm done.
I did real quick though. I want to say this. I wrote it down earlier.
Yeah.
But and you were saying about an end goal, but I heard this thing the other day, and I'm not going to remember it exactly. So work with me. So anyway, right? They were saying healing is not reaching a goal or of an idealized perfect version of yourself, right? That is actually bondage, because now you're bonded by that idea, and having to, you know what I mean, and not meeting it is now going to hurt you, right? Healing is like accepting all the dark parts of yourself, realizing that you're flawed, realizing you're going to make mistakes, and even the parts that are dirty and shameful and you really don't want anyone to know, you have to still love those parts of yourself. And love yourself, to give yourself enough grace to be like, this is just what happened and I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? Like, or this
shadow,
right.
Yeah.
And then
embracing your shadow. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. It's embracing your shadow, and then just act in a way that you want to be, but in that moment, because you're never gonna, what you become is never going to be what you think in your head.
No, that's true.
Self-knowledge breeds compassion for other people. It has to. Otherwise, it's not really self-knowledge. Because, you know, part of self-knowledge is you see the great things that you do, but you also see the shitty side of yourself, you know? And that should help you be tolerant of other people and not just tolerant. I mean tolerant of bad behavior, or, you know, lies, or, you know, their own belief in the TV, their own wearing the mask, all of that stuff. You know, yes, You want them to stop doing stupid behavior like that. You lay it out for them one more time, and you're really patient about it, like Socrates is in the dialogues. You know, he's incredibly patient with people. But you're not going to compromise yourself either.
Mm-hmm.
You can't.
No.
Because, we're going to have to leave some people behind.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like that. Yeah.
It does. But compassion is born of self-awareness. It has to be. If not, you're not really aware of yourself. You don't really know yourself until you're compassionate with other people and can forgive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and show compassion to yourself.
Yes.
Also.
Yeah. Right.
Because I'm extremely critical of myself. It sucks. I'm always like, shut up. It's the other side of my brain. I know, okay? Yeah. I'm working on it.
Right.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, true. It's like that.
I know.
Yeah.
My spirit guide's an asshole. Is. She's always like, and it's always like, dude, chill out, all right?
Yeah, it's always that discussion in your mind.
Yeah.
Has to stop.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, and sometimes a third person joins in, like, "Yo, you still need to break this up."
What the hell's going on in here? You two, shut up. Yeah.
Right.
That's a good analogy. It is a good analogy. Well, Gurdjieff says we have multiple eyes.
Yes, we
personalities. And the first task of self-awareness, self-work, is to just simply observe. Don't judge.
True. That's already very difficult. Difficult.
Okay, so and being able to separate. Okay, so this is an emotion and this is a thought, or I'm feeling angry here. Why am I angry? Why am I angry with that person? Or why did I tell that person a lie? Or why did I lie to myself? Why am I doing this stuff? That's the daily work, and it's whether it's done in meditation or just as you're driving, as you're, sweeping the kitchen, whatever, that's the real work of meditation. It can go on at any time. And, Jesus says, pray incessantly. Well, if prayer is meditation, that's what he means. He means being in a state of meditation where you're self-reflective.
And also I think also it's
Susan's right. We have to balance self-criticism with self-acceptance and self-love.
Yes,
there has to be a balance.
Yeah, see yourself, but don't analyze too much yourself.
Right.
Try to change that behavior, because when you start analyzing it, there's no end either.
No.
There comes no end on it, and I think, okay, I do that.
Ready for connection.
No, and I have Gemini moon, so while my brain's torturing me, it also likes to make jokes about myself.
Bluetooth connected.
Doesn't end. That's why when you were talking about the trees and stuff, right?
Yeah,
but seriously, or the person that could talk to the trees, I wish I could understand them. But all I know is that when you're back there and it gets real quiet and you're surrounded by trees and stuff, it really is just like I said, the electromagnetic fields and stuff. It's like a dialysis cleansing of energy. And I'm not saying it happens in 5 minutes. Like I sit back there for an hour or two, and what it does, it's like everything in you is kind of released and you're back into more of a neutral state. You know what I mean? Right. It's a rejuvenating.
Yes.
And it does come from the trees and the ground and all.
Yeah, it calms you down.
Yeah.
That's why vetiver, that essential oil, it's good to ground you. I did it one day or 2 days ago. It's like 2 days I put a lot on it and I was so calm in my mind. So calm. I say, oh my God, this is heaven. My mind is calm.
Vetiver?
Vetiver, yes.
Yeah, I haven't tried it yet, but I also read that it's a really easy crop to grow in desert areas.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And it's worth a lot of money.
Grow it. Yeah. And then you have that Indian tree, which actually is...
Well, Gerard found a couple of mushrooms inside of his greenhouse.
Oh, yeah, I saw the pictures.
Yeah, I saw the pictures.
I know, that's cool.
That is so awesome.
Oh, man.
Right in the middle of a freaking desert.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, that's not humid.
Yeah,
That's not
yeah,
humid.
in the desert, mushrooms, unbelievable. Yeah.
The desert is artificial.
You need like cooler temperatures at night for like
Mhm.
lion's mane or like the ones
Yeah.
that I'm really
Yeah.
familiar with
Right,
foraging,
right.
chicken head and all that. I mean, chicken in the woods and all.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but for those good magical kind of mushrooms, Gerald,
But you should be able to.
that's a
Yeah.
dude, you don't even have to do anything. You just throw them in the.
Oh, well,
Mm.
we'll make sure that the conditions for that are
Yeah.
present on the property.
They are.
Well,
They are.
if you're in the desert, what might be good,
Sorry.
sandal.
Okay.
Yeah. Sandalwood is extremely
Sandalwood.
expensive. If you can grow that in the desert,
Yeah.
that would be amazing. Because
Yes.
it's extremely. It's a holy wood. I mean, in
Is it
India,
an incense burning wood? They
yeah,
burn-
it's
use it for
incense
incense?
sandalwood.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
a very. That's also kind of a magical tree. And if you can, I don't know,
Right.
but it grows in very dry and hot areas like India. So it should be possible in West Texas too. And that's a magic tree. You should
Right.
be able to, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't know where you can get the seeds or whatever, but that would be magical if you can have a sandalwood tree.
Definitely.
It clears also your mind. Just imagine being in a sandalwood forest.
Mm.
You're in heaven because it's like literally your mind gets emptied and detoxed.
Well, we're talking about communication with trees and with nature. I think it ties in perfectly with what we were saying earlier in the conversation, which is about quieting your mind.
Mm.
If you can attain that place of where you're not talking, where the chitter chatter is stopped,
Gone. Mm.
gone. Then you can hear.
Yeah.
Multidimensional space fairies.
They're real.
They're real.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and earth spirits, earth elementals as well.
Yeah.
We've called them gnomes and dwarves and other names throughout literature, but these are different forms of consciousness.
Yeah. And if you're in a very high level, if we can reach that level, then we see them too.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How higher we are, how more levels we can see.
Yes. Yeah. Mhm.
Very interesting.
All right, guys. Well, do you want to go? Because
Yeah.
it's been an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, I need to be.
Yeah.
Me too. I need
I'm
to
gonna
go.
go cool off and
All right. Well,
That
I
was good.
appreciate you guys joining. Guys, have a wonderful day. This is Christine, Susan, Jonathan, and Gerard with Ancient Knowledge. You guys have a great day.